Welcome to Stitch, where we recognize the feel good, the do good, and the all around good from across the country. I'm Devontae McKenneth. We're celebrating the quirky, the unique, and the one of a kind, people across the U.S. with fascinating ways of life, and the go-getters with stories to tell. From those who went off the beaten path to important inventions, join us as we introduce some exceptional folks. Here's Allie Ross to introduce our first story.
Home means different things to everyone, but for this couple, it's not home without their beloved water buffaloes.
We saw one. I saw one and fell in love. Good girl, Bambi. Here she comes.
Jessica and Brian Furr of Maine Water Buffalo Co. call their animals big, cuddly house pets.
The eyes, I think, and their personality. Very, like something behind the eyes, very knowing, very curious.
He's got his tail up, so that means he's happy.
The couple simply enjoy the water buffalo's company.
They're very affectionate, and they'll come to us seeking out affection. You know, I mean, they'll come from the pond or the woods if there are wagons out there with people on it and they want to come and investigate and get that attention.
Their herd of 17 also provide meat and milk, a milk that Jessica actually describes as richer, sweeter milk than cows. And from it, she makes a line of small batch yogurt, gelato, and cheese.
Really important thing that comes through and what everybody says is, wow, this is so creamy. It tastes decadent.
The only water buffalo farm in the state of Maine, Jessica and Brian regularly open to visitors.
People are astonished on how the water buffalo react to them.
As out of place they might look in Maine, the animals know they're right at home.
Like sometimes they'll come out of the pond, or they'll be in the pond, or they'll come out of the woods, and it looks like something out of a movie. It just looks surreal. You wouldn't expect to find it in, the backwoods of Appleton.
He's a good girl.
The pandemic made many of us contemplate our living situation. For this next adventurer, hitting the road was the answer.
Mental health wasn't doing as great. So I was just kind of thinking through this, what's something safe, number one, that I can do, and what's something that my future self could thank me for.
Mike Verlatis moved for a new job right before the pandemic, but he soon felt isolated and wanted more out of life.
I had an apartment in Atlanta. I had moved down there and lived in a beautiful place, but I kind of just realized that I didn't need it all.
With his co-pilot Bailey the Husky in tow, they went on their first road trip.
Completely rechanged the way that I was living. And that's to fill my life with experiences and not things.
He sold his car and belongings to live in a converted school bus. Now the pair travel the country and document their experiences online. Mike's not the only one, as van life, bus living, and other mobile home options have boomed because of this pandemic.
I think COVID has really given people a perspective of what truly matters.
Mike has this advice for anyone thinking about a travel-themed life.
Life is truly too short. Do the things that make you happy.
Imagine if your life was one long road trip. For the participants of the annual Hobo Festival, it's a tradition and lifestyle they celebrate. This is the story of the Dutchman.
In America, there are still what we call ghosts. People out there that live in the shadows. Those people really aren't bad people.
The National Hobo Convention has brought hobos to the small town of Britt, Iowa since 1900. The highlight of the festival is the election of the King and Queen hobos.
They call me the Dutchman. I've been riding trains for 50 years straight. When I was young, pissy stepfather tried to send me to live with an uncle for a minute. I got in a lot of trouble, and back then, to be in Dutch meant to be in trouble. So he started calling me the Dutch boy. And then as I grew older, it just simply became the Dutchman. Hobos, the real bows out there that ride the rails, kind of divided it up over the years to give these folk someone to be around that actually lives the life. This really doesn't have anything to do with the harshness of the life I live. It has more to do with people are enamored by this lifestyle that I live. And they want their kids to be caring, If somebody really needs some help, help them. And that's why they bring them here. If you're gonna be a traveling person, you have to make a choice, whether you're gonna be a bum or you're gonna be a working beau. It took years, but I became an electrician. Pretty soon, you got a pocket full of money and you're ready to move on. Americans are proud of being what they call free. You ain't free until your backpack's full and your pockets are empty. I don't encourage none of this. It's a hard life. It's a fool's errand to think that a grown man could just start doing the kind of life that I lead and would be comfortable. It's second nature to me because I've been doing it since I was a boy. When you go through some really hard times with somebody, you freeze and you go hungry and you just go through all these things together, you bond. And that makes what we call family. Just trying to survive can be a regular job. And when I'm trying to get away, the Suits Canyon and along the Columbia Gorge, those places are really special. There's always going to be people who suffer from the opposite of being homesick. We call it far lust. If you try to put me in a house somewhere, I get sick. I gotta go someplace I ain't never been. I gotta go do something. I can't be stopped.
When we come back, we'll introduce you to some serious go-getters. Stay tuned.
Welcome back to Stitch. Around the country, there are those trying to break the mold, push the limits, and go above and beyond. Up first, a man on a mission, even if at first it was accidental.
I love you guys. This is the best surprise in the world.
Don Mucha was not expecting such a warm welcome when he jogged into Disney World.
I had no idea.
The security guard said, "Oh, are you the runner?" And I thought, oh my God, you know, here's the escort off Disney property.
An Ironman athlete from Texas, he became the first person to ever run from Disneyland to Disney World, a feat he didn't start his journey expecting to accomplish. It was a friend's suggestion that gave him the idea.
He said, well, so I assume you're running from Disneyland to Disney World? And I hadn't actually thought about it that way.
His plan was to start at the Pacific and end at the Atlantic, but the Disney parks became easy and magical goals.
I've just been on cloud nine since then.
The reason why he's running about 2,800 miles across the country is important. He wants to show his type 1 diabetes isn't holding him back. After decades of defying limitations from the disease, he wants to prove to others they can too.
Make that choice rather than the choice of fear.
These next three sisters are the absolute definition of go-getters, helping people around the world one penny at a time.
We just help whatever we can, and we just believe every around the world needs help.
For Jasmine, Jessica, and Elise Ellsbury, life wasn't always easy. In fact, they were told they were worthless in their orphanage in China.
Nobody really liked me because I can't walk. I was alone and nobody liked me.
They say their loving family in Iowa gave them hope and the desire to help others.
I had this dream of helping so many people, and I was thinking, maybe I can change their life too. We made ourselves chairs because we often call ourselves chairs, and the forge is a unique four, and a change because we believe change could change the world.
The sisters collect loose change to donate to Love Without Boundaries, an international charity. Elise and Jasmine were adopted thanks to Love Without Boundaries advocating for them. Through the thousands of dollars they've raised, they've been able to help people in India, Cambodia, China, and Uganda, like these children dancing in front of a house paid for by Chairs for Change. Chairs for Change donated 7 homes in the region. Jasmine, Jessica, and Elise's goal is to raise $1 million to help as many people as they can.
Remember, a little change could change the world.
This next graduate proves that it's never too late to achieve your goals.
Look, I have to get a kiss.
This mother and daughter have plenty to be proud of. At 78 years old, Vivian Cunningham graduated as part of the class of 2021 with her BA from Stanford University in Alabama.
It was a long, hard struggle, but I managed to keep going.
Married at 18 and quickly the mother of 2 children, she worked as a seamstress and then as a custodian for Alabama Power.
Working the night shift, I had to sleep during the day, so I couldn't attend school at that time.
When she started working in the mailroom, Vivian began to take advantage of the company's tuition reimbursement plan, taking night classes. And now she's here with a degree in liberal arts studies.
If I could do a cartwheel, I probably would. That would show you that how elated I am.
We are extremely proud of her. It's just the true epitome of perseverance.
Her daughter Tara recognizes she has quite the role model.
I really appreciate what she did for me as far as sending me to school. You know, I have my bachelor's, I have my master's, and I'm currently working on my PhD. And it's all because of her.
As for Vivian, she has no plans to slow down.
But I know I'm not going to sit down, you know, and just stay retired. So maybe from that point, I'll try for my master's.
In our next piece, an artist found ways to share his passion for music with the world in spite of the difficulties he's gone through.
A lot of things don't come easy to me. But just like that kid who feels out of place until they get on that basketball court, everybody has their place.
When I see your picture,
music was mine. This was something that I could share with the world and shine with. Like, this is me, people. Pay attention. The reason I don't see is because I was born 3 months early. I was under 2 pounds and I could have fit in the palm of my own hand. And this was back in 1971 when medical technology was not what it is these days, and that made for an interesting life. I grew up in New Jersey, a great area to grow up to learn to be a musician. 19 years ago, I met my friend Bill. He helped me get back on the sidewalk after almost getting run over by about 5 cars. And so about 45 minutes later, he walked into the guitar shop and he saw me there. He's like, dude, what you doing? But he was playing and singing, and I just pulled out a harmonica and took a solo. And he was like, this is it. You know, we got to do something with this. And I liked it too. We couldn't think of a band name. And one day he just said, dude, 13 Scotland Road. I said, yeah, that's where we live. He said, no, that's the name. I said, what name? That's the name of the band. And eventually it just stuck. Our first gig happened to be Christmas in Hudson County Prison. My father is a psychotherapist, so he worked there, and he got us the gig. Play something for the guys on the tier. And they were, some of these guys, scary as they were, all this, man, what you gonna do? What they're playing? They loved it. And that was when I realized how powerful this music was. We had what looked like there might have been some starts, but we were never quite able to get it off the ground. We had a lot of personnel changes. Bill was like, I gotta get out of Jersey, dude. This isn't working. He calls me and says, I'm living in Portland. Come up to Maine. And I said, how would I get around? He said, there's a place up here and they have services for blind people. So I won't have to worry about you falling down a hole in the middle of the street again. I was like, dude, I'm ready to commit to whatever we got to do to make this happen. And it's been amazing. Today is Make Music Portland, which is an event to celebrate the solstice. So there's music all over town. I'm teaching a harmonica workshop, and then I'm going to be performing as part of 13 Scotland Road. It's an honor to be asked to teach something. You have to learn what people's mistakes are likely going to be and anticipate them. There's nothing to see, so you have to say, okay, my students are probably going to get this right, and they're probably going to not quite get this, so let me be ready to guide them. And a concept that I learned growing up being Jewish is tikkun olam, which is stitching the world together, using my talent and abilities to help make the world a better place. Music keeps me inspired and inspiring. The best moments come when things are almost going wrong. Like, I played a wrong note, but then I salvaged it and turned it into an amazing solo. moments where as a band, we just did something amazing and the people all felt it and saw it. And that's us up there making their food taste better and their day better.
When we come back, we'll highlight some brilliant minds from across the country. Stay tuned to Stitch. Welcome back. Ingenuity, creativity, and a great deal of out there thinking went into these creations and inventions, and inventors using a renewable resource to create a new method of transportation.
I'm an inventor, and that's all I know how to do. So what I did, I invented something other that people can use everywhere.
Milton Butler says his latest idea came to him in a dream.
It came to me in my sleep. I was sitting there sleeping one day, and I had saw how the sun is always out. I went and got my boys, and I talked to them about it. I said, we could build something other that we could use from the sun. The sun charges this battery, that battery, and the whole car is ready to go. You have nothing else to do but just ride.
He built a solar-powered bike using parts that he had in his garage.
I call it the Ducky because that was my wife's name. That was her nickname, Ducky. And everything she did was perfect to me. And when I built this in her name, it came out perfect on the first time.
While there are other solar-powered bikes, most are thousands of dollars and not quite like the Ducky.
No, that's the first one ever been built. And I built it in my garage.
Milton sees how his invention could help people all over the world.
My friend in the Philippines called me and said they pay $11 a gallon. And he said, man, we have like 14 hours of sunlight. I said, well, this right here work good for you out there. You just ride as long as you want.
Even Milton's grandson, official tester, knows the trike is a unique idea.
Gas in Stockton costs $5 for 1 gallon and $10 for 2 gallons. But now we don't need no gas no more for the solar car. The solar car only runs on the sun.
Then my two boys, they love it. They drive it every day. We come to the park, they go around the park many times they work. They never had to worry about running out of gas. Out of gas, but never run out of electricity because the sun is out.
What's next for the Ducky?
I'm wishing Tesla or Jeff Bezos. They love solar. I want them to come and see me.
This next creation, or should we say crustacean creation, is certainly out of the box and out of the sea.
You think about lobster processing, you think about the meat. Some people are starting to use the shell. But we use the circulatory fluid.
That fluid, Marin Skincare founder Patrick Breeding says, is the key ingredient to their lotion.
I think that eventually it would have been stumbled upon because the properties that this has is unlike anything else that's available on the market.
The fluid contains a protein that allows a lobster to heal its wounds and regenerate claws. In humans, the company says it can help heal problematic skin.
You could see I'd have it here on my cheeks too, spots just like that, all around my face.
Co-founder Amber Boudiette suffered from severe eczema.
It was just really miserable.
The two met while researching ways to find more value in lobster byproducts while at Humane Graduate School. Amber tested some of the lobster lotion and her skin began to clear in just days.
I was kind of patient zero with eczema for trying it. So after it worked on my skin, we realized that this was something really incredible that we needed to share with other people.
So we do a little bit of chemistry and take this out of the fluid and use it as our active ingredient.
They receive a patent for their creation using an ingredient that would normally go down the drain.
We found a way to go in, sustainably collect it from lobsters that are going to become seafood anyway. So it ends up becoming just a value-added product for processors.
There are other ingredients that help soothe the skin, like shea butter and vitamin E, but the founders are confident their product, while a bit unconventional, works.
It moisturizes your skin really well.
These next inventions are all unnecessary. Seriously, that's what their creator calls them. But they're certainly good for a laugh.
The very first one I ever made were these. These are the Air Sticks, and so they are chopstick extensions for your AirPod.
Matt Benedetto's workshop is filled with inventions that are, in his words, unnecessary.
I mean, of course, the croc gloves, were just an internet favorite and everybody loved them. They all have some sort of use, but there's always gonna be either an easier way that you can accomplish it in your life. It either is just not even a problem that actually exists in your life.
But who needs practicality?
This is a comb when you want to get that perfect hand through the hair comb look.
When you have thousands of fans on social media.
This is the official first product in 7 months that any of my followers are able to actually purchase.
The ideas are just for fun, just quirky creations to make people smile.
It's going to be a cup holder, and it's going to go for the top of your car, so those times when your hands are full and you put your coffee cup on top of your car.
Matt says as long as he keeps making people laugh, he'll keep creating.
I just sort of put them out there, and you build it, they'll come.
We hope you enjoyed celebrating some of these unique stories that stitch the country together. Thanks for watching.